Oh, the weather outside is frightful,
but inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review
Let's review
You
and Me, Season 3.
and 3. Bum.
That's right, folks. That's right. Court is back in session for Better Call Saul because we are talking about our hypothetical Better Call Saul Christmas specials. This is going to be a lot of fun. But you know what else? You know what other place, Dragon? You know what other place does hypotheticals? And I'm sure that once Christmas rolls around, they'll have some amazing hypothetical Christmas specials in December.
Movie fights?
No, well, maybe movie fights. Yes, maybe movie fights.
Sounds a lot like movie fights, right? What is it?
It's the movie.
Okay, in English, go over it. I didn't hear you.
It's the Movie Machine Podcast. Go to hotchocolatemedia.net for your source of what happens when you have four funny people and improv a movie based on a random story generator really fast, featuring Kyle Decker, Ben Lifson, Jacob Gulliver, and a host of others. hotchocolatemedia.net. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Dragon, I'm really stoked about my Better Call Saul pitch. I think I've got some really good stuff in here. I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert, but it's not much of a spoiler since it kind of takes place in my cold open. But laser tag. I did something with the laser tag, so we'll see. We'll see. What is that giving something away for you?
No. No.
Okay. Well, so while you were suggesting, let's kind of imply where in the timeline of Better Call Saul and the Breaking Bad universe this takes place. So why don't you start?
Well, so like any general thoughts on just making this? Again, for me, folks, I'm going to say right now, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Yeah,
so I'm just fearing technical difficulty. I think we should be fine.
We're good.
Anyway, so yeah, folks, this is the hardest Christmas in July kind of speculative Christmas I've ever had to come up with.
And I gotta say, I actually kind of had a fun time with it. There was one or two scenes that I kind of hinged my special around. Like, there was definitely a centerpiece scene that I was like, okay, I absolutely need to get this centerpiece scene in here and kind of work the rest of my special around it. But that's how I worked it.
Well, basically, it was really hard for me because, I mean, I knew the first things I came up with, I knew how to open and close it. The hardest thing to do was just kind of string the events together, mainly in Jimmy's stories. I'll admit, folks, I mean, this might not be my best pitch work. I'll admit that right now. Because you know me, I usually, with my holiday pitches, I like to kind of form it in a place where
Deadpool is definitely going to be like the one where you're just going to curb stomp whatever idea I come up with, like Bard.
Oh, yeah, most assuredly. But anyway, point is, like, with this one though, I mean, my weak point might be my Jimmy story is like where is the weakest point of my thing. It's just basically how I always, with my pitches, I always try to kind of connect them where they could feasibly go inside the series that we're talking about, you know?
Sure.
Try to make it sound like this could feasibly have happened in between the breaks or whenever we place them. You know, in this case, for mine is placed between. Let me go through my setting here. Yes, my setting is between season 2 and 3. It's about which places it about 4 to 4.5 months later.
Okay.
Season 2, approximately. Doesn't matter. That season 2 takes place within like a month or two after the ending of season 1. So again, this is like 4.5 months later. Just to catch up with our characters, where the kind of BMI special. Chuck's plotting his next move at this point because again, I don't want to. I want to try and make it feasibly like this could go before season 3, and we don't know anything about season 3 yet. So I kind of put it in that safe place here. So let's just say Chuck's plotting his next move. Mike is playing it careful with Gus Fring watching. Wexler and McGill, they're doing well with the ads. You know, they're getting a lot of clients. Mesa Verdes is keeping Kim busy. In terms of well, I'll get to some more specifics with the timeline when it arises. But
okay.
The director for mine, if I were to pitch my director on this, it'd be Peter Gould, most assuredly, because he basically, purely for his work on Marco, I say Peter Gould, he definitely could take mine and do it. He could definitely do it.
If I had to pick a director, I would honestly say, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go Ryan Johnson. Gonna have to do it.
Well, interesting. I don't believe he's done any of the Better Call Sauls because
But I'm waiting for one. I think after he gets done with episode 8, like maybe like season 4 of Better Call Saul, perhaps.
That's fair. We'll see. Again, I'm really interested to see what he would do with Saul. I really am.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, so that's just so Peter Gould will be directing mine, and let's just say mine. I went a little more broad and abstract with kind of the roles of Santa and Scrooge, and yeah, I think I got again. I'm proud of what I got here. Just I think connecting into a story, that's where I proved most difficult. So again, I think Jimmy's gonna be my weakest point in here, but I'm proud of a lot of stuff they came up with. So I mean. Just one last thing going into one last thing before I hand it over to you. The biggest curveball I was thrown at the last minute, which just it's so embarrassing. Search for this, Tiki, to kind of get the specifics down. You're going to see that in the thing, but the biggest one is just from the get-go. I was assuming it doesn't snow in Albuquerque, like almost never snows in Albuquerque, but apparently, looking at the weather forecast, it does. And mine thematically has a lot to do with snow because the title of mine is Snow.
Nice.
So you can imagine where that put a kink in things in my pitch. So I had to restructure some things. I had to make it basically the idea that, you know, people like Mike and Jimmy kind of bonding over, oh yeah, they're from places where when it snows, it really snows.
Okay, I hear you.
And that would be something they bond over. So basically, I had to scale that back a lot and just make it kind of like more of a half-hearted thing. Which again, that was a last-minute thing. That and the Jimmy story, I'm a little weak on, but I think I tied it together nicely enough. That's all I got. So again, setting between seasons 2 and 3. That's all I really need.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Mine, I just honestly went with season 3 premiere. And in terms of the timeline, I'm going to set it a little further out from what you set it as. I set it 16 months into the future. So basically, like, enough time has passed so that Jimmy and Kim have already established themselves. Like, they are, at this point, kind of like a decent competitor with Hamlin and Hamlin at this point. And they are really doing well for themselves. They haven't like tied it into being law partners yet. It's like their whole system of working together, like, you know, like two lawyers in the same building. And that's going really, really well. Their relationship's on the rise. They haven't really done there's kind of a little bit of tension with if they're going to propose to each other or not. You know, I don't want to make that call just yet. But in general, I want to say timeline-wise, you could probably place this in the Christmas of 2004. So this is the first Christmas culturally that we didn't have a Lord of the Rings movie coming out in December.
Okay, so that places, just so you know, because I did a lot of timeline research on this one. That places your thing 2 years after the start of the show.
Correct.
Isn't
correct.
Again.
2 years after the start of the show. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. All right. Can I go first with my cold open?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So,
by the way, folks, so we're breaking this down. We're gonna go back and forth on this. So cold open, then the 3-act structure. Okay, go on.
Okay, I think you're gonna really like what I came up with for the cold open, and trust me, it's gonna come back. So we open on B Goddamn Arthur. And what is B Arthur doing?
Are you sure you're not reading your Deadpool pitch by accident?
Yes, I am sure I'm not reading my Deadpool pitch. We open on so we have like basically like a 17-year-old, like a 16 to 17-year-old Chuck, and then a 12-year-old Jimmy, and then a bunch of Chuck's like older high school friends. The parents are out for the night, and they're all watching the Star Wars holiday special in December of 1977.
Okay.
And and then Jimmy's kind of like, Jimmy's actually the one that's standing up for the holiday special. Like Chuck's kind of being aggressive about it, like, Jimmy, I can't believe you like this, man. This is Star Wars. You know, come on. And then Jimmy's like, well, yeah, but did you see the bounty hunter guy? The bounty hunter guy was cool in the cartoon, you know. So Jimmy's basically being the voice of like why the actual Star Wars special is good. Anyways.
You know why that's great? Why? Because Jim McGill is a fan of Star Wars. Because remember, in season 1, he refers to him as Lord Vader. He loves.
So basically, here Jimmy McGill is kind of like the Star Wars fanboy, and then Chuck and his group of high schoolers are kind of like, you know, they're like, oh, Star Wars is lame. Star Wars is for little kids. So you know, you kind of have like this bully thing going on with Chuck, because Chuck is definitely
older. Aren't they watching the?
What?
Aren't they watching it too? Okay, so is Jimmy watching this, and then they just kind of happen to walk by, or is
No. Yeah, they're watching it. They're watching it at the house while the parents are away because it aired on TV once. So they happened to catch it the one time it actually aired on TV.
I would say I'm kind of hard to me to buy high school kids are kind of turned off by Star Wars. I mean, that's because I can't imagine anyone being
turned off by the holiday special, though.
Special, yes, but I mean, just
That's what I'm saying.
Your guys just mentioned Star Wars is for babies. I mean, come on.
Well, but like I said, I think with Jimmy McGill, it's like Jimmy McGill's pointing out the things that Star Wars fans actually appreciate about the holiday special, and Chuck is more in the mindset of like, what the hell is this? This Wookiee's jacking off to Wookiee porn. I don't want to watch this, Jimmy. Come on now. If I'm going to watch porn, Jimmy, I'm going to watch real porn.
So I think I want to just change it to, so this special is for babies. This isn't Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anyways, we see an ad on TV, a very elaborate ad might catch Jimmy's eye in the future on an artistic level.
Is it the Norelco shaver?
No, it's something even better.
Because that was in the 70s.
It is the Laser Wars Laser Tag Arena. Come live out the fantasy of Star Wars in real life at the Laser Wars Laser Tag Arena. Turn right and left and right on this street in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so Jimmy just basically looks at Chuck and his friends with like the most adorable, like pleading little kid's face, like, can we go? And then Jimmy and his friends are like, fine. So then we cut to we have like the 70s car pulling up outside of the laser tag place, and yes, it is the laser tag place, Dragon. It is the laser tag place.
Oh god.
It's a little retrified, so keep in mind it's like a 70s like showbiz pizza as opposed to like a 90s Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's there. It's like, it's like the Laser Wars. I just call it Laser Wars just because Star Wars just came out, so they'd be wanting to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
And so Jimmy and Chuck, they pull up in their old school like 70s, like let's call it a 70s Toyota truck, like a red Toyota pickup truck from the 70s. And their friends and Jimmy are crammed in there. And Jimmy rushes out of the car, runs into the laser tag place before Chuck and his friends get out. Chuck and his friends have an idea. They're like, wouldn't it be funny to just leave Jimmy here? And so basically that's what they do. And then Jimmy creates a bad Christmas memory in his head. He loves the laser tag. He absolutely loves the laser tag. But when he memories that he was left behind, bad Christmas memory. So we cut to you're gonna like this. So we cut back to the McGill house. It's snowing outside. Jimmy comes back in the snow. Jimmy's mother, she's like, Jimmy, where the hell have you been?
Mama McGill.
What?
Mama McGill,
yeah. She's like, where the hell have you been, Jimmy? And then we see Jimmy comforting, or we see Jimmy's mother comforting Jimmy in the corner. And then we see Chuck and his friends are playing Atari. They're playing Asteroids on the Atari, so more Star Wars stuff. And then we see, like, we don't hear the conversation between Jimmy and his mother, but we see Jimmy point in Chuck's direction. And then this is a really intense moment where Chuck's mother, the mother goes, she rips the Atari straight out of the wall and throws it against the wall and breaks it. And that is the cold open.
Wow, I don't know, T. It's a little extreme reaction. I mean, she didn't. Then again, she really does love Jimmy.
Think about it, man. Think about it. We don't know how far that laser tag place was. Her child walked miles in the snow. It's like bad shit could have happened to Jimmy. And the point I want to make here with this cold open is this is the start of Jimmy receiving the special treatment over Chuck. Like, this was kind of like Chuck is definitely intelligent. Chuck is definitely like an honor student in high school, but their parents are kind of fed up with Chuck being a little dick to Jimmy. And so that's where the mistreatment comes from. The mistreatment.
I'll tell you what I love.
The mistreatment basically, The mistreatment basically comes from the fact that Chuck has this group of high school friends that are essentially peer pressuring him into being mean to his little brother. And
yeah, that's what I love, Tiki.
Yeah. And like I said, and then we have the reaction from the mother. which is going to lead to even more animosity in the future, and that's just going to lead to kind of to Jimmy basically being the favorite and everyone kind of being like, hey, remember when, just this really, really horrible Christmas story of like, remember when you made your little brother walk 5 miles in the snow, Chuck? Remember how stupid you were, Chuck? Remember how you almost got your little brother killed, Chuck? See what I'm getting at there? See what I'm getting at?
Tiki, I'm loving this. Is a great opening.
All right. Shoot, what do you got?
Well, let me say this. I love yours. I think my Chris special as a whole, it's going a little more kind of an Alf slash Lou Grant direction. It's a little more kind of a lot of emotional stuff. I have some gags in there, but I think it's my cold open here. It's oddly enough we both started in flashback.
That's not too surprising.
Because our favorite moments are probably the flashbacks of season 2.
Absolutely.
Again, I know my big one from my influence was the Jimmy at the Chuck Senior store. Basically, mine kind of blends together the three flashbacks: the Rebecca flashback, the convenience store flashback, and the I don't know. I'm trying to think of what the third one was, but we'll get in there.
Okay.
Oh right, no, it was the finale, the flashback about Mama McGill passing away.
Gotcha.
I blended all three together in a way for around Christmas. Again, here's how that starts. Again, remember the episode's called Snow, and I went for some visual symbol. That really carried me through the writing process. And again, I had to alter some stuff. But again, the idea of Snow is that later on. Point is, we start with the episode. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah, we mirror the shot in that we started with the pilot right when the black and whites. So here it's snowing in Cicero. It's not black and white, but it's really kind of drained colors, kind of like in the Rebecca flashback. It's kind of really drained, kind of black and white-ish colors.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're at the McGill house on Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess it's called Christmas Eve because it fits in with what happens later on. So Christmas Eve. We're at Christmas Eve dinner. All is happy, Chuck Senior, Mama McGill. We see a college age Chuck and Jimmy. Basically, when Chuck was in college and Jimmy, basically what Chuck talked about in his story. This is the age we're seeing now.
Sure.
So, because again, I want to show where they are at these points in their lives, and again, it's an age where we can't have our wonderful, Michael McKean or Bob Odenkirk, as much as hilarious that would be to see. But no, we gotta go with the young people. But again, like right on the cuffs of them becoming the men we know them to be, though. It's always really important. That the idea is Chuck is visiting for the holidays, and he's welcomed lovingly by his parents and Jimmy, like, "Hey, brother, how's it going?" All happy-go-lucky, and Chuck. You can sense instantly the disapproval of Jimmy working at the store on Chuck's, and pretty much it's like I wanted to go for real tension, basically the kind of tension I'm dipping into for my own personal Christmas Eve experience.
Okay,
it's all about
right.
tension under the surface. It's about the things you don't like about people. So basically, Chuck's visiting for the holidays. It's like you can sense the instant disapproval of Jimmy working at the store, but the parents, they're very proud of Chuck, which delights Chuck. It's like, oh, Mom, Pa, you're so proud of me. I'm so happy. Chuck brings up the fact that basically, I didn't write down all the dialogue, obviously, but just we're talking about outlines here essentially. But Chuck. Basically, Chuck brings up Jimmy's lack of prospects subtly. He's saying, "Well, Jimmy, what are you thinking of doing next?" Like a real kind of like a restrained kind of insult,
Right, of course.
Through Chuck McGill stuff. Again, a young man, Chuck, not Michael McKean, but ideally actors who could represent them well enough. So Chuck Senior, he accepts Jimmy, like basically the best father ever, which is the implication we got from Chuck Senior. He accepts Jimmy patiently as the mother delights in having Jimmy around. Like, oh well, Jimmy around close by around the house. He's so delightful, isn't he? So wonderful. But you can tell that's making Chuck feel. Basically, you can sense the embitterment on Chuck's end of like Jimmy. Like I'm going out there. I'm doing the family name proud. He's just sticking around. He lucked into a job, and he's still beloved. And he's like, oh, Jimmy, take his time. He's taking the easy route. He's getting all the love. Me, doing all the hard work. I'm getting a pat on the head, but that's all.
Okay.
Basically, he is achieving the same level of success I am without any of the work, which of course is the
so
primary.
This is also like this almost kind of feels like the same dynamic I was going for, except with me, I was kind of setting it where Chuck would be in high school and Jimmy would be in middle school. So feels like a similar dynamic, except you just age the characters about a decade. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I swear to God, folks, we did not talk about at least beforehand. We just.
Yeah.
We did the complete accident. I swear to you. But yeah, I mean, I just came up with that from the idea that the whole the store thing is where Jimmy and Chuck's rivalry started in my mind. Basically, he mentioned he saw Jimmy take cash out of the register, and that's where the rivalry really started. I mean, I didn't factor in the awesome laser tag story you did, but so this is my thought process.
Just me making the emotional centerpiece be the laser tag arena was a person.
Tiki, I kid you not. I just think that idea is brilliant. That's why he wants to. That's why it now gives him the sense that laser tag place whenever Saul's trying to give away, it's out of a sense of like, I love this. It's respectful.
You're goddamn right. You are goddamn right, sir.
I love that idea, Tiki. Hopefully you're going to pay off for that idea. Anyway, so let's see. So point is, you get the sense of the dynamic that's really going to shape their interactions going forward. That Chuck jealousy is really brimming around the holidays with these guys. It's just no matter what Chuck accomplishes, Jimmy gets just as much, if not more, acceptance. Again, Mom likes him better for lucking into the family business. Again, it's pretty much a pity job of like, well, let him run the store.
Abandoned Jimmy at the laser tag place when he was 15. Maybe if that didn't happen.
Anyway, so we get a shot of. Oh, by the way, this all plays to the most kind of jealousy. Invoking song around Christmas time, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So the idea is, Jimmy's Rudolph and Chuck, and Chuck is jealous of Rudolph. That's the idea. As in the background, the radio or something plays Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Oh well, Jimmy, I love this guy. Had a very shiny nose, and basically the last shot to that music is a shot of the three McGills kind of gathered together. Chuck Senior. Chuck Senior, Mom McGill, and Jimmy like all cuddle up and like, oh, it's happy holidays, and we have like kind of a shot of just like an unsurprised Chuck of like, well, this is par for the course. Just giving a look to the camera of like, yet again.
Right.
Sense Chuck's discontentment as he's just kind of looking while the three are gushing over Jimmy in one shot.
Yeah.
That's my cold open. What do you think?
No, it's good.
Right.
Like I said, it's just kind of it just kind of setting up the McGill dynamic. That's something you definitely want to do with the McGill brothers. I don't think it's necessarily a surprise that kind of the main centerpiece with both of ours is the Chuck and Jimmy dynamic. I think that gives you a good opportunity to work with when in crafting like a Scrooge arc in particular. I have a feeling that Chuck's going to be the Scrooge in both our specials. So
yeah, I think I went through yes, but I think I went more kind of like he's a subtle Scrooge, he's an abstract Scrooge, which we'll get to.
Ooh, abstract Scrooge, boy.
Yeah, okay. I went kind of the he's a Scrooge, but it's like he's not in the center. It's like his negativity spreads throughout. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, so I actually have a song queued up right here that I
interrupted me.
Yes.
Kidding. Go on, play your song.
Okay, so this song is going to be used for a montage of Jimmy shopping for Christmas gifts, kind of splurging because his business with Kim is going really well. But by the end of the montage, you can kind of tell that he's just like he's had it. He's in the lines like it starts with him super cheery, and by the end of it, he's like, "Oh fuck me, get me out of this mall." It goes a little something like this.
Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chiming, jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell
Square. Sorry about that, but you get the idea.
Maybe we should forgo the audio. I'm sensing problems.
Yeah, I think so. That's fine. That's fine. But you get the idea. Jingle Bell Rock played to Jimmy. Like, okay, I have a whole list of. I'll go through these quick, but this is a whole list of elaborate Christmas gifts that he's getting everyone. All right, you ready?
Opens with a shopping spree by Jimmy.
Yeah, so he buys himself a fancy new Christmas suit. It's like a legit suit, but it's all done in like nice silky like. Reds and greens and stuff. So it's a small,
I think we're going to be dangerously close. I think you stole one of mine already.
Okay, so he buys Kim a fancy pair of Christmas lingerie with jingle bells on them.
That sounds. I'm just picturing that in my mind. Rhea Seahorn. Now keep going.
Yeah. He buys Howard a new set of golf clubs.
Nice.
He buys Chuck a new lantern kit, a state-of-the-art lantern kit.
All right.
And then also he passes by a very familiar-looking Santa Claus. We can't quite place our finger on who the Santa Claus is yet, but I just want to let you know that you should be taking pause at this very familiar Santa Claus figure in the mall. Very familiar Santa Claus.
I think I know who it is.
I think you know who it is too. Okay. Anyways, this is night. He buys Mike a new belt. He buys Price a remote control yellow Hummer.
Oh God.
He buys Kubrick a boom mic and a new camera. And even letting bygones be bygones, he buys Clifford Maine the most goddamn expensive and fancy guitar he can find.
That sounds awesome.
So, spending a lot of money. Basically, the only thing he's getting for himself is the nice suit. He's like, well, I got to get one Christmas thing this year, but anyways, like I said, the montage is just kind of like, it starts out with him like, oh, I'm getting this and I'm getting this for my friend. And oh boy. And then by the end of it, he's just like, oh, because it's like that experience you have in the mall where the mall just drains you and drains you. And then meanwhile, we keep cutting back to the Santa that looks mysteriously familiar, but we won't get to him until a little later. Okay. Meanwhile,
the most wonderful time of the year. In my mind, well, that's what's going on.
Okay, so then he's checking his watch, and he kind of rushes out of the store with Clifford's fancy ass new guitar. He's struggling to get that into the car as he's in a rush. He's like, the car's kind of comedically stuffed with these gifts, and then he's rushing. And he's pulling into the laser tag parking lot.
Well, I want to clarify. He's still driving the Esteem car, right?
Yes. And I also want to clarify one other thing.
Yeah.
Technically, when they were kids, they went to a laser tag arena in Cicero. And then this is a laser tag arena in Albuquerque, but let's just say it's run by the same chain. All right?
All right.
Just to clarify, because I kind of forgot that they grew up in Cicero and not Albuquerque. But so anyways, we see someone else walk behind the corner, and it's Chuck. And the big reveal is that Chuck is not only like mobile and getting around now, but he's walking. And Jimmy didn't know this because this is the first time that Jimmy's seen Chuck since the big reveal.
Really?
And there's been,
okay,
because they've kind of, Jimmy's been doing his own thing. Jimmy knows that Hamlin's been taking care of Chuck. Jimmy's kind of been talking about Chuck with Hamlin, but he doesn't really know just how well Chuck is. And so Chuck has basically kind of made a full recovery with Jimmy not in his life. That's the idea.
Huh.
But so first of all, Chuck is kind of like, it also, his appearance has somewhat changed since this is like a year and a half later. He's got a full beard, like not a Santa beard, but just kind of like a scraggly beard.
Right.
And also he's walking with a cane.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like he's getting around. He has, he doesn't have the adverse effects to electromagnetism like he used to have, but it's obvious there's still some ailments going on with Chuck. So, anyways, so So Jimmy's not really in a good mood because he's been standing in the long lines, and Chuck's kind of pissy with Jimmy because he's late, and he also kind of makes a little sly remark at all the gifts Jimmy has in the car, like, "Oh, going on a real spending spree." Jimmy,
wait, hold on.
What?
Wait, Chuck's waiting. Wait, so Chuck invited Jimmy to someplace?
Yes. Chuck basically is like, that's why Jimmy was in a rush to get out of the mall, was because he needed to meet Chuck.
But he was surprised it was Chuck, right?
No. He wasn't surprised it was Chuck.
Okay, but we were. Okay, I'm making sure.
We as an audience were surprised that Chuck was able to get around from his own car and stuff like that. That's what we as an audience are surprised at. Okay. Anyways. So Chuck, he basically says, Jimmy, you know what I love about Christmas? It's a time to let bygones be bygones. And he pulls out the tape recorder. And he plays the tape in its entirety. He plays Jimmy's confession.
Yeah.
And then he throws it on the ground and he stomps on it. Yeah. So Chuck is basically like, Jimmy, I've thought long and hard about what to do with this, and I would be lying to you if it didn't tempt me to turn you in. But at the end of the day, you're my brother, and I've got to admit, you've got a successful law firm on your hand, and So, like I said, it being the holidays and all, I love you, and this is my Christmas present to you.
Is this going to be a dream?
No, it's not a dream. It's not a dream.
All right, making sure.
And Jimmy, he's just kind of taken aback. He's taken aback.
Who wouldn't?
Chuck is trying to awkwardly hug Jimmy, but all Jimmy can think about is looking longingly into the closed arcade in the laser tag arena. Okay. I'm almost done with my first act here. Got one more page of notes. So cut to the night. Jimmy's coming home after a long day of shopping and talking with Chuck.
I'm sorry. There's a potential problem with your what you're noticing. So where did Chuck and Jimmy have this meaningful moment?
The laser tag place, like I told you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just want to make sure they're inside the. Okay, I'm sorry. It sounded like you were.
No, they're not inside the laser tag place. They're outside of it when it's closed. They just use the parking lot as a mutual meeting spot.
Okay. I'm sorry. I lost the parking lot. I didn't know the parking lot part. Sorry.
Yeah. I mentioned the parking lot right in front.
Sorry, I missed that.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay, so we see some jingle bells, and then the camera pans to a classy and not very revealing shot of Reese Horn as she's in her jingle bell lingerie. It's very sexy but very classy.
Take that, Skylar White.
That's what I'm saying. And then Saul's he makes like a crude comment like, "Oh, I could ho 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 you all night" or something like that.
I like to slide down that chimney.
Right. Oh God. And also Saul, of course, is sporting his just his silky like red and green suit that looks really, really good, but also looks like a damn good Christmas suit at the same time.
It's amazing how many similarities we're gonna have. I have that suit in mind.
They're getting intimate. Kim's kind of like bantering him a little bit, like, "How much money did you spend on the gifts, Jimmy? I mean, we have the money to spend, but how much? How much?" And then Jimmy's like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." And then, right as they're jingling their bells, there's a knock on their door. And who is it? Who is it, Dragon?
Who is it?
It's Mr. and Mrs. Wexler.
What?
Arriving early from the airport at a bad time.
I know.
Okay. Just hear me out. So Mr. and Mrs. Wexler are spending Christmas with Jimmy and Kim. I've got my casting here. You ready for my casting?
Go on.
All right. Mrs. Wexler, Laura Dern.
Yeah.
Mr. Wexler, Martin Freeman.
I'm sorry, what?
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. Okay, I thought you said something else. All right.
No, Martin Freeman.
Yeah, that sounds solid. I like that.
All right. I cast Martin Freeman mostly for his role in Fargo. He played kind of like a really nice, kind of charming, like, Midwestern guy, and I could get the same vibe from Mr. McGill.
Yeah,
so,
that sounds good. I mean,
and then obviously Laura Dern kind of speaks for herself.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sold. I like him. I could definitely see him as Kim's parents. Yeah.
Okay. I've got to admit, Dragon, I kind of lifted Clark. So the thing with Kim's parents is that they run a small mom and pop grocery store in Iowa, where the hell Kimmy's from. Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because again, Kim is from the same place that Gene ultimately ends up.
Oh yeah. We're all heading there.
Essentially, the parents' mom and pop stop went under, and basically the parents are in financial ruin, and they're going to need Jimmy and Kim to help them out. Unfortunately, that puts Jimmy in a predicament since he just fucking splurged on all those gifts.
Oh, jeez.
So that's basically the dilemma here. Okay, so Jimmy, he's playing it cool. But he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to return some of these gifts, man. I don't know about this. Okay, so then the next day, you're gonna love this. The next day, Jimmy is in a Hawaiian and a swimsuit, and he's making the in-laws a Polynesian breakfast.
Oh god.
So he's got pineapples on the. Basically, it's just like pineapples on the pancakes and stuff like that.
Okay, it's official. Like, yours is better than mine.
And he's got like little umbrellas on the pancakes.
You've won, all right. Yours beats mine.
Okay, but then it gets even better. Because Howard Hamlin comes in, and Howard Hamlin, no, he does not want tea. But he wants to know if anyone knows of anyone that would want some tea, because he got a bad gift, Dragon. He got a bad gift. Because he got a coupon for a free tea time, but the person that got him the gift was a dope and didn't realize that they were getting it for an actual, like, tea party center and not a golf club. And so now Howard Hamlin has this coupon, again, the real Howard Hamlin and not the fantastical Howard Hamlin that we've invented as a running gag in our podcasts.
Yeah.
Has the coupon for the free tea time that he doesn't want to use, and he's just trying to give away. But also he's inviting Jimmy and Kim to a Christmas party at Howard at basically
HHM.
Yeah, but now I think Chuck, I want to put it at a place where Chuck's retired, though, so I want to just call it Hamlin and Hamlin right now.
Okay, so again, we have so much in common, but yours is better than mine.
So it's changed from HHM to just Hamlin and Hamlin. Also, I'm going to make it official, the senior Hamlin is Robert Redford.
I think it's a bit of a lie. I mean, I like that.
I don't care how much of a stretch it is. I don't care how. Make it happen. Robert Redford.
I like it.
Robert Redford is the fucking father of Howard Hamlin. Come on.
I couldn't afford Ed Bigley Jr. for mine, so he's a cameo.
You couldn't afford Ed Bigley Jr. Oh, seriously, I have a whole Spinal Tap reunion. Just wait for that.
I have a cameo of he's just mentioned. His name is mentioned. I couldn't afford him in mine.
Okay. Well, obviously, I had the bigger budget.
Yep, and the better pitch so far.
Okay, so anyways, basically that's the whole thing. Is that he's like Howard Hamlin's basically like, yeah, I want to let bygones be bygones with you guys. What can I say? You started a new company, and I am super proud of the way that you guys have built yourselves up by the bootstraps. Just Howard Hamlin being his genuinely nice self. I have no intention of turning Howard Hamlin to a Scrooge-like figure. As a matter of fact, I think Howard Hamlin is probably like the character in this whole thing that best embodies Christmas.
Yes, he was a bad guy in a Christmas movie, which is hilarious.
Okay, so that's where we leave our first act. Jimmy's in the dilemma of he's literally got a car full of like very expensive gifts, and he's got in-laws that obviously need the money he spent on the gifts way more than the superfluous spending. And then he's got to go to the Hamlin and Hamlin Christmas party, which he is not looking forward to. Okay, take it away, Dragon.
Okay, well, let me preface it by just to compete with that awesome first thing. Okay. Mine is in a tougher position because what I do with mine, I try to kind of feasibly put mine into what could happen, so I know what I can't do. He has sky's the limit with this guy. That's why he's much more fantastic. I mean, again, I'm going more kind of the Lou Grant direction.
Wait till we get to the very familiar Santa Claus, the very familiar looking Santa Claus.
So I tell you, I have trump cards though, and let's just say my German Trout is my trump card. We'll get there.
Okay. I don't have a lot of Mike. I'll admit that right now. I don't have a ton.
And
of
I'll
Mike.
admit, here's the biggest thing I'm jealous of from your pitch, Tiki.
Okay.
I'm as much as I believe I had a hard time just I had to pare it down so we could fit within the kind of like a 50-minute run time, and I had to pare mine down. I didn't have enough time to do more Kim Wexler stuff. So I mean, she has an important role, but it's very minor.
I kind of have the same thing going on with Kim here. It's like she has a storyline with her parents and everything, but really she doesn't have that huge of a story arc outside of that. So
yeah, I think
I was kind of struggling with what to do with Kim as well.
I'm sorry. Your Kim Wexler is compared to mine. I really wish I had more.
Do I
Kim
win
Wexler
just because
stuff.
of the Jingle Bell lingerie? Does that send me over the edge?
Well, here's the thing: you win because of the Polynesian breakfast, but
I knew you'd love the Polynesian breakfast.
Win because of the Polynesian breakfast. That's when I tip
the
my
little umbrellas on the pancakes, just the tiny little umbrellas on the pancakes.
That's when I surrendered by the pineapples, but the umbrellas were like the kind of like those. Honestly, you had. I mean, if I were to be true with myself, you kind of had me at the Jingle Bell lingerie. But no, but seriously though, again, let me just go through. Anyway, so. Just bear in mind, mine's going a little more kind of the hallmark.
Right. I'm gonna go out and come back in really quick, but just go through yours. I'll be right back. Okay.
All right. Okay, so we start in black, and we hear the we start in black, and we link. Basically, we start in black, and we pick up where the ending of season 2 left off. So it's in black, and we pull back in the shot that kind of reveals that we're in Chuck's house, and it pulls back directly from the tape recorder. We're hearing the confession. We hear some key points in the confession. We see Chuck listening to Jimmy's confession, which is a big thing. There's a lot of tension and a lot of basically build up for where season 3 would go, and basically kind of the decisions in the process. Basically it adds a lot of dimension to the decisions that are made that will factor into season 3. So Chuck's listening to Jimmy's confession. He's mulling over the moral dilemma. That's why he's listening to this thing. Throughout the whole thing, he'll be kind of listening to this intently. So we have we start with the Scrooge and Marley comments. And we start with the Scrooge and Marley comment, and then we get the whole confession from Jimmy. Basically, we hear the whole thing in its entirety from the audio that is played, which we saw Jimmy confess to, but now we get to hear that and just kind of see Chuck's reaction to it as he's kind of thinking strategically in his mind, and also kind of ethically in his mind. Should I do this? This is a big thing. There's no coming back from this. So I go after my brother. He's brought down. So Tiki, what you missed, I mentioned in the clip of the thing, you have the Scrooge and Marley comment going. You have the confession. Basically, all of Jimmy's confession is heard while Chuck's kind of mulling it over.
Okay.
He then clicks, just to kind of homage the ending of the last season. But then he clicks the tape recorder off. He prepares the seal in an envelope. Howard Hamlin drops by. He just walks in, and basically he sees the tape being dropped in the envelope. Mm-hmm. Envelope is sealed. He asks Chuck if he's interested in golfing at a remote location. Just want to show a little nicety of Howard Hamlin, just saying, "Well, come on, Chuck, let's get out of the house, man. I know you," because he knows Chuck's been through some traumatic experiences recently, but saying, why don't you go far out golfing, far away from electromagnetism? What do you say?
Sure.
Again, Howard Hamlin loves the golf. Again, loves the tee in that regard, and I have the tee references to the other tee in there somewhere. But he suggests, no, why don't we go golfing at a remote location? Chuck declines. He instructs him. Importantly, is Chuck kind of demanding, essentially. So, okay, listen to me, Howard, I need you to do something. He basically gives him explicit instructions to take the tape of Jimmy confessing, which Hamlin did not hear that on the way in. But there's a lot of ambiguity through the special. The big ambiguity is I'm basically running with Chuck is played as the abstract Scrooge, and Hamlin is Marley, Jacob Marley.
Gotcha.
Now he's Jacob Marley in that.
That makes sense.
He's kind of a cross between Jacob Marley and Bob Cratchit, because he's kind of, when he's with Chuck, he's Marley, but alone he's more like Bob Cratchit. He's basically a Marley who becomes a Bob Cratchit. That's what I'm going with Hamlin. So the point is, Hamlin didn't hear the thing, but it's dropped. The tape is dropped in there. In the envelope, he gives him explicit instructions to take the tape, hold on to it at the office, lock it away where Hamlin knows it is until Chuck deems it necessary. So Chuck hasn't decided to kind of make Jimmy face the music yet. He's still mulling over. He's trying to think if he should or should not do that. Howard asked if this is about. Again, Howard's like smart. He's a little onto it. And the big question is, we are always at a crossroads with Howard Hammond because we don't know how complicit he is in things. We don't know, like, oh man, is Howard actually evil or is he not evil? What's going on, man? I wanted to play with that this whole special. And the big question of, like, did Howard listen to the tape or not? So it's in Howard's possession. Yes. Does this have anything to do with the whole Chuck almost quitting fiasco? And Chuck says, somewhat, gives him kind of a half-hearted answer, kind of a snarky answer, and also Hamlin reminds him of the office Christmas party, and then Chuck turns it down. And he sense that turn it down again. Chuck being kind of the Scrooge, he's not really in the Christmas spirit. He's got his own moral dilemmas kind of brewing here because the idea is for 4 months he's been listening to this tape nonstop, going crazy over the ethical dilemma of what to do with his brother.
Of course,
I kind of show the multiple shades of Chuck, where he's not all bad, but he's definitely. I mean, he's not all bad, but he's definitely conflicted. So after that, again, Hamlin has the tape. He turned down the Christmas party. Hamlin takes the envelope, unsure of himself. Again, essentially Howard isn't really comfortable doing this for Chuck. He's now Chuck, with all the requests over all the many years, it's starting to weigh on Howard. Like he doesn't like being kind of. Essentially, he's groceries and stuff to the house. He's not crazy about being the gopher for Chuck. Let's see. So he's unsure of himself. Then Chuck just what?
Oh, I just said gotcha.
Yeah. So Chuck's just kind of left stewing alone. Importantly, alone. We see a shot of Chuck alone. Meanwhile, next thing is Jimmy excitedly calls Kim over. They're kind of sharing a place at this point, like we saw at the end of last season. They kind of share an apartment or a room somewhere. I don't know. Jimmy excitedly calls Kim over. Kim, give me. I see the new holiday ad. Basically, the most recent holiday themed "Give Me Jimmy" ad.
Mm-hmm.
It's playing on TV, and this one's the artful one. So it's in black and white. And basically the idea is Jimmy provides a little bit of running commentary through this ad, just explaining, like, she'll give him a look of like, well, what? How did you get that shot? It was like, oh, this or that. Pretty much, we see a black and white Citizen Kane shot because we know Jimmy loves Citizen Kane. He loves the black and white of Citizen Kane. We do.
Right.
So we start with like a Citizen Kane shot looking upon a giant inflatable snowman. And emphasis on snow. The idea with snow thematically is, snow is something, again, initially and somewhat still is in Albuquerque, it's something, it's a very rare sight, and the idea of snow doesn't stick around like it would in Cicero or Philadelphia, and it's something that's almost impossible to have kind of snow stick, like basically a clean slate.
So it's almost got a mythical quality to it in Albuquerque. I can relate to that because shoot, man, I remember like one day back in elementary school it snowed, and it was like it hasn't snowed since in Sonoma County, but that one day in elementary school, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so again, like the initial idea was like it never snows, and it's something.
Sure.
It's basically the impossible versus the possible. But now it's like kind of the impossible that's going to stay. That's going to actually kind of maintain. So the idea is like it can make his mark is never going to be there because then the opportunity disappears.
Mm.
Idea that Chuck back then he could have helped him do that. Now he can't. That's kind of I'm going for a lot of like the importance of snow, hence the title. So again, we see a snowman. Snowman's going to be very important in this whole special. Giant inflatable snowman. Kind of we pan cross that because Jimmy loves the dolly shot. So we kind of dolly, and the idea is like he'll have like an offhanded comment where he'll say like basically it's a ladder on a wagon. The idea is the boom guy or Kid Kubrick's on a ladder.
Oh god.
On like as the boom guy's pulling the wagon as they're getting that shot. Let's see. So then we have the Nat King Cole song. We have the famous Nat King Cole Christmas song playing during the commercial.
Sure.
Roasting on an open fire. Miss Trask, because Miss Trask is kind of like the good luck charm. She's the John Ratzenberger of Jimmy McGill's commercials for the most part.
Oh God, she is. She totally is.
Also, you're gonna love this. Now, this I think you are gonna love. Is that it's not gonna be as strong as yours, Tiki. I think you're gonna like it. Is Miss Strauss is at a table. Then we then see a pan from. We then kind of dolly out from house having Christmas dinner with her two boys, which are the Skater twins.
Oh God!
And they're liking basically because it's in
the
the whole commercial is in black and white, so like they're dressed in like kind of their Leave It to Beaver finest, the warm Christmas sweaters, and it's like they're holding hands, like saying grace, and they're looking lovingly towards mom. Good old.
I love this.
Again, so basically now as that goes on, basically the whole thing is Jimmy is narrating the whole time as we're seeing these monolithic images of also they use the chair that's built on the side. Remember, kind of the elderly chair to get a dolly shot of like coming down from the Christmas, coming down from the Christmas tree. Because as we saw with the commercials, basically Jimmy gets 4 magical shots and then the final shot. That's usually how it goes. Points. We get snowman. In this case, it's like 4, I guess. It's like we get snowman. We get the dolly up the Christmas tree shot. It's all magical and whimsical. It's in black and white, and the reason it's in black and white is because they shot the snowman illegally at night.
Oh no!
And then, of course, the dolly shot of the Christmas dinner. And basically, Jimmy's narrating about Christmas time is a time to reflect on family, and when hard times. I'm not saying this is exactly what it says generally. It says, but when hard times hit. Hard times hit when they're least suspected, when they're least expected.
Classic McGill.
And here's my catchphrase for the holidays. It's in all.
Oh God! Okay. What is it?
And when that happens, it's not time to say "gimme, gimme." We then see it's not time to say. And here's the setup. So here's the setup. Basically, someone or Jimmy will say "gimme." It's not time to say "gimme, gimme." Will happen in this case, and this is important. We see a snow-covered car. So it's snow-covered in Albuquerque. It looks really good, and you'll find out why later on. It's a snow-covered car. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit now. Let's just say it's snow soap. There is an actual process. I looked this up. I did the research on this, and this is the only thing that kind of saved me on like what to do for my Jimmy store. Is that I looked up kind of what you can do for fake snow, and basically there's like you can mix soap and make it into snow and spray it on a car.
Okay.
It basically has like a car with a top down to make it look like it's basically like he borrowed Kim or someone's car and basically covered in fake snow, and basically Santa Jimmy, Jimmy Claus from the other side. Like he basically wipes the front clean because it's like the convertible, make it look like as much like a sled as he can. Clears off the windshield, and then he basically in his Santa suit. And the idea is it's the red and green suit. It's a red suit, green shirt, snowflake tie, and he wears a Santa coat and hat over it. Yeah.
Okay.
And but he's wearing like lawyer shoes and everything. He's just a lawyer and a Santa.
Nice.
Then he says, now is not the time to say gimme, gimme. Wipes away the thing. It's time to say gimme, Jimmy, gimme, Jimmy.
Oh God! Of course.
There's Bob Odenkirk, and God, it's it's
nice.
all is nice.
You made a really good commercial, Jimmy.
Oh God, it makes me all warm and fuzzy when Kim Wexler. We talked about whenever she says that line, it's like sounding the most like supportive like commercial. It's
Right.
It's like Farmiga levels of cute from Rhea Seahorn. Okay, anyway, so point is Kim loves it. All is nice. It's revealed that so basically, Jimmy realized, oh yeah, that's kind of our new one. We're going for like kind of a nostalgic Citizen Kane vibe on that one. It's just and the usual one. The idea is the usual ones are kind of over. He's kind of over the silly, colorful ones, like the last few. He's like, yeah, I've kind of gone a little bombastic and colorful, which is kind of referencing the future of Jimmy, of Saul Goodman having kind of the cheesier, goofier commercials. So he's saying, yeah, I'm just trying to distance myself from that right now.
Gotcha.
It's kind of the over-the-top kind of Santa Claus saying silly things to the camera.
Sure.
The two exposit how well they're doing since the private co-practice idea. They're both kind of have their own business and they kind of share the co-pay. I guess they both kind of pay for the overhead together. And then I believe it's Jimmy proposes they have a Christmas party. Well, I have a Christmas party here. It's a big space. We're doing well enough. I think we can splurge a little on the holidays. Why not? And she agrees. Oh yeah, sure, sounds great. Yay! All is great. Meanwhile, this is what I'm proud of. I'm holding my mic stuff here. So then we cut. Jimmy stuff. We then cut to Mike. We check in with Mike. So here's my theory on kind of where we're getting with Mike in between now and between season 3. So we check in with Mike. We see Mike is still keeping tabs on Salamanca. Still, still like from a distance we see kind of the hangout is kind of a little decorated for Christmas time, but they're all in there. wearing a Santa hat. They're all wearing Santa hats. Let's see. So as basically from a distance, Mike's watching, but Mike's keeping a keen out for Fring's men. Basically, whoever the mystery person is that put the don't on his windshield, he's keeping a look at while he's looking. He's not making his move like the other guy warned him of, but he's just still. He knows someone's out there watching, so Mike's keeping a keen eye. And this is important. Like as he leaves, he takes a slip of paper, and this is homaging something he does in Breaking Bad. And I figured it kind of stemmed from this moment of the whole "don't" on the windshield. He takes a slip of paper, and he has something written on it, and he basically hides it under a rock or something. Basically, you can see the paper, and basically you see it says "why" with a question mark. See, it's kind of saying, don't why. He wants to know more about these guys.
Oh god!
Basically, it's like under a rock, kind of like how Chuck put the $5 underneath the rock, pretty much. Like it's why under a rock, and then we see a shadowy figure in a wider shot that Mike didn't even see this guy, showing how good Fring's men are. From an even farther distance, watching Mike with kind of like a scope on a shotgun or something. I don't know. He's watching Mike, and it's like, oh boy, these guys are being busy. Like a shadowy figure. We don't know if it's Fring. It's probably not Fring. I think it's like not Tyrus, but it's someone.
Okay.
So the point is, let's see. You're just we transition to Mike visiting Stacy and Kaylee around the holidays. He notes the lack of exterior decorations. It's all kind of stuff on the inside. And Stacy explains Christmas in Albuquerque since Maddie's death, and you're kind of having trouble getting into the holiday spirit. And here's the time.
Right.
So here's the timeline on Mike here. So the timeline on Mike and the whole. Where we are with Mike is that September of 2001, Maddie was killed. March 2002, Mike kills the cops and moves to Albuquerque. In May, that's when he meets Jimmy, and in June, that's when he tells Stacy the truth. That's Mike's timeline. So what that means is there was a year in between. The idea of like Maddie gets killed, Mike's probably still mourning that same year, and then they have Christmas in Philadelphia. But following that, the following year, now this. With Better Call Saul in 2002, where they're all there and Mike's helping out now. That is their first Christmas in a new place without their father, without Matt.
Gotcha.
So the wound is pretty fresh. That's what I'm getting at. The wound's really fresh for Mike and the family here, and they're really kind of getting used to it. Like it's not only like being a familiar place, you're in a completely different new location, money's tight, it's all that sort of stuff. So let's see. So Mike visits him. Stacy explains the first Christmas in Albuquerque since Maddie's death, which leads to which she suggests. Kaylee and I were kind of having trouble getting into the holiday spirit, and then Jonathan Banks gives like kind of a wonderful, whimsical, hopeful kind of. Well, we'll see about that. Meanwhile, at HHM. To put the tape in the desk drawer and kind of lock it down, which is going to be a recurring thing in this episode, locking things in desk drawers. Okay. But he hesitates. He hesitates. We then see a cassette player on his shelf, and we kind of rack focus, suggesting again the ambiguity of whether it's kind of like the smoking gun. Like, did Hamlin listen to the tape or not in this whole thing? Like, does he know? Does he know that Jimmy confessed to the thing? Does he know or not? So he racks focus, and we see a shot like kind of Hamlin kind of considering playing the tape on there because he knows there's a tape in there, and he knows he's got a cassette player. So it's left to the audience's imagination what he does and how much information Hamlin's armed with. There's the last bit before we get to that too.
Okay.
So Jimmy gets a call, and we're thinking, oh no, tension-wise, oh no, it's Howard. He listened to the tape, and now he's calling Jimmy. No. First of all, we have a little bit of comedy where he complains to Kim about, we still need a receptionist here. Figuring they haven't gone to Ernie or Omar quite yet because they're not quite successful enough yet.
Okay. Okay.
So,
whereas with me, the difference is, like I said, since I took that year gap, it kind of allowed me for them to build up a little bit of a capital.
I'm working with limitations here. Tiki's got the sky's the limit, which is why his is far superior.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. The point is, I don't mean this. I don't mean this joyous jealousy. I don't mean to sound harsh on you. The point is, I'm gratefully jealous here. It's like, yours is awesome. I love yours. Okay. So Jimmy gets a call. He complains about the receptionist, but it's not Hamlin. We don't hear Howard Hamlin, but a familiar voice that Breaking Bad fans recognize. It's a voice demanding that basically, almost in a threatening way, demanding a meet tomorrow morning. At a certain location, which I'll review in a moment, or your secrets get revealed. And basically, the phone hangs up, and we see who's on the other side of it, and it's Bogdan.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. Oh, okay.
What were you expecting?
I was honestly expecting Gus Fring.
Oh no, but it's Bogdan, and it's hilarity will ensue. Again, hilarity in that it's the only thing I come up with I can make work, folks. So bear with me.
Oh boy. Okay, so my act 2, it begins with another Christmas montage because those Better Call Saul folks, they love their montages. We had one classic montage of shopping. This is the montage of decorating. So the idea here, there's a lot of kind of comedy pratfalls here, is that the Hamlin, so Robert Redford and then Howard Hamlin and then Chuck are trying to get this giant Christmas tree to fit into like the main lobby area of Hamlin McGill.
Wait, hold it. Well, Chuck's retired. Why is he there?
He's helping. He's just helping.
So Howard asked him to help. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, he's making sure going.
Yeah. And I mean, Chuck's mostly just kind of supervising on the side, but it's just a comedy of errors because they just cannot fit this giant tree through the door.
I think that's hilarious.
If they get it through, it'll just fall over. It's like it's causing like pine needles to go everywhere. It's like the janitor is kind of like having to sweep up all these pine needles every which way. It's just causing a huge mess. And then at the end, they say, you know what? Screw it. Let's go with the fucking Charlie Brown tree. So they just get like a little like grocery store parking lot tree and stuff.
Who came up with that idea? I mean, out of the three of them, who came up with the Charlie Brown tree?
I want to say it was Howard Hamlin.
Oh God, is wrong. You go through all that effort with a huge tree. You come up with
Exactly.
When you say Charlie Brown, do you mean like actual Charlie Brown? Do you mean like a really pitiful?
No. I mean like kind of like a standard like grocery store parking lot tree.
God. Okay.
So like not like a tiny Charlie Brown tree, but not like a big majestic.
So pretty much a Perry White special.
A Perry White special. That's a good way to put it. Yes. Okay, then we have kind of like this big Christmas party. It's kind of a big public event over at HHM. And because it's a public event, Dragon, we get a very prominent public figure from the Albuquerque community who runs a little fast food establishment.
Oh, well, I tell you, I thought of this with my special, because I pondered using Gus Fring. You know why I held off on that?
Why do you hold off?
Because I get in Breaking Bad, it seems like they're always talking about Pollo Hermanos like it's a new chicken place that's opened up. Like it just sounds like a freshly franchised Albuquerque. That's why I held off.
I don't know about that.
Like everyone's saying, "Hey, have you tried this new chicken place?" Like they're all going nuts over this chicken place.
I'd have to rewatch Breaking Bad because I thought. Because to me, I almost kind of thought Pollo Hermanos was just kind of like this established, like an In-N-Out burger or something like that.
I mean, it is, Ting, but that is like now freshly franchised to Albuquerque in some recent years, I guess. I mean, I don't know how many years. I mean, I assumed it. Holiday pass. I'm just letting you know that I think that's why I kind of held off on it myself. That's
okay. Fair enough. But Holiday Pass, Gus Fring is showing up just to make a public appearance at Howard Hamlin's Christmas party, which he's turning into a big publicity stunt. And then who is Gus Fring's bodyguard? Of course, it is Mike.
Okay.
And Jimmy's just kind of taken aback by this, and then Mike just gives Jimmy the sternest look, and then he just walks towards Mike like a goddamn bulldog, and grabs Jimmy by the throat and takes him into the other room. Like, not strangles him, just like, look, mister, you're coming with me.
Does he grab him by the back of the neck, or because the back of the neck's a lot more less conspicuous?
Let's say back of the neck. Yeah. And so basically, Mike, like, Jimmy's like, what I do? And then Mike pulls out his wallet and gives Jimmy $2,500.
Ooh.
And then Mike's like, look, I'm late on my Christmas shopping, but unfortunately, I have to spend the rest of my Christmas Eve guarding this Fring fella.
Okay.
Now the pay's good. But I don't have anyone to do my Christmas shopping for you. So if you're so inclined, help a senior citizen out.
Oh God.
And
basically, so much better.
And basically, he gives Mike a list. This is all Christmas shopping for Kaylee. No one else but Kaylee.
Oh, this is awesome!
And,
I'm so jealous.
And he says, "Now look, the things on this list should be about 2,000 or so. Go ahead, take the 500, spend something nice on yourself. All right?"
Oh God, that's so awesome! I'm so jealous.
Only one more thing. Kaylee wants a gift this year. She wants a very particular gift. Now,
oh God, it's a Halo Christmas special.
Now, there's these very particular pink teddy bears that are on the store shelves that are flying off the shelves. But if you can hunt down a pink teddy bear.
Yeah, pink teddy bear.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, pink teddy bear. Pink teddy bear.
I got it.
All right. You get the gist. So Jimmy is on a Christmas spree, but basically he's kind of calculating his money out. Okay, so I've got $500 for Mike. I need to go and get his Christmas shopping. But then what am I going to spend on myself? And what of these gifts am I going to bring back? He's still contemplating what gifts he needs to bring back. He's kind of sneaking out, and then Howard, not Howard, Chuck kind of approaches him. He's like, Jimmy, what happened to you, man? And so this is basically Chuck kind of just trying to get Jimmy to come back to the party, and Jimmy just being like, no, I have to go, Chuck. I have to spread holiday cheer. So it's kind of like the holiday version of the roll around in the dirt with me speech. Like, but Jimmy, your family and your friends, and like I said, Chuck is not necessarily a Scrooge. He's just kind of more so like the connotation of the bad memories, and he does have a little bit of an arc. So
come on, Chuck, roll around in the dirt with me.
But essentially,
dreams will come true.
And then Chuck also mentions like, now look, I hate to say this, but word got around that the Wexlers aren't doing too well, and well, Howard's thinking about giving him a handout, Jimmy, and I know how much you would hate that to happen.
How does the word get out on people who live in Omaha, Nebraska that fast?
Because they're in the Wexlers are at the Christmas party.
Oh, okay.
And word's gotten around because Kim was a very valued employee for HHM for a number of years.
Yeah,
so.
I guess that makes sense. Right.
Yeah. So, they're kind of like the Ma and Pa Kent. They're like, oh, woe is me. Our little corner store is shut down.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing left to go but down, Martha.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Not Robert Redford.
So basically, but
sorry, not Martin Freeman. I screwed that one up. Sorry.
Oh God. But you get kind of like Jimmy struggle here, like, oh man, well I need to set things right, and I also I really care about all these people. Like he genuinely does care about Chuck. He genuinely does care about Howard. It's like there's no one in this room that Jimmy's really antagonistic with. Jimmy's dilemma here is how much holiday cheer he can spread. He's essentially spreading himself too thin with this. Okay. So anyways, he leaves the parking lot and then he hold on, I'm sensing
a problem with yours. Let's see how you do it with it. Let's go.
Okay. So it's Christmas Eve. He's shopping for Kaylee. He's bringing back some of his gifts. He's kind of like, we see a montage of him like bringing back some of the gifts he got at the beginning and getting the cash back for them. So he can kind of like save up some cash to help with the Wexlers because he does not want Howard Hamlin to help with the Wexlers. That is his business. He wants that to be his Christmas present.
Well, how much do you think Jimmy spent in gifts? Or are you going to reveal that?
I mean, I don't have like a grand total or anything, but I
was saying like approximately.
Like ballpark, I would say maybe about like 20 to 30,000.
Oh wow, that's expensive. Okay, well, they must be doing. Okay, so it's in the future. They're doing really well, right?
They're doing super well. That's what I'm saying.
All right,
especially with Mesa Verde. Like Mesa Verde was definitely like a big windfall for them. Okay, but anyways, so Jimmy is about to he sees the pink bear. He sees the pink bear on the shelf, right? There's only a couple of them left on the shelf.
And Gus Fring buys one.
No, but then he does get a phone call. And he gets a phone call from a very panicked Daniel Price.
Oh, Price.
Okay. So Price, basically the whole gag with this is like, he's just into something that's really sketchy and Jimmy's not even asking questions. He's like, okay, Jimmy, Mr. McGill, all you need to know is that I came upon a large amount of money and I need to find out a legit way to launder it and fast. I need to find a legit way to launder this money.
I know what you're doing.
Yes, you know what I'm doing.
We talked about this in season 2. I know what you're up to.
And Mr. McGill, if you help me out with this, I'll give you a cut of the money. So again, kind of like more more motivation for Saul, some more Christmas money. And so basically it cuts to, well, Daniel, I have just the place. Tell me, Daniel. You seem like a scientific type. You seem like a nerdy type. You like laser tag, Daniel? What are your feelings on laser tag? Okay, but then this is kind of an emotional moment where and Jimmy is just kind of like in his head. He's like, oh boy, I get to go in with this guy on buying the laser tag place. Oh, happy me. Like this is genuinely like making Jimmy's Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, but they go to the laser tag place, and it's kind of like a classic situation where the owner of the laser tag place is just closing up, and it's like, oh, sorry, Christmas Eve, got to get home to the kids. But we have thousands upon thousands of dollars to offer you. We want to offer your store. No, sorry, talk to me after the New Year's. And so basically, Jimmy's like, no, and he's pounding on the glass. He's like, why can't a man just play some Why can't a man just have one positive Christmas memory connected to laser tag? That's all I'm asking for. Just one positive laser tag Christmas memory. Come on. And Price kind of just pats Jimmy on the back, and he's like, well, we'll see what we can do after New Year's. And Price gives Jimmy $100 tip. Okay.
Huh.
And then let's see. I'm trying to see. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut it out. No. Hold on. My act 3 is gonna be pretty short, but okay. So meanwhile, we have Chuck, and Chuck is getting a little bit drunk off of the eggnog, and this is where Chuck kind of veers into the Scrooge territory because he's essentially being his elitist asshole self in front of the Wexlers.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No!
Like he's basically like, can you believe those Wexlers lost their? I mean, come on, it's like I have a pension, and it's like, it's like, I mean, I have money. I come from money. I work hard for my money, and those Wexlers, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they just don't. And Kim, a bright young woman like you, having to deal with parents like that, and that crosses the line, and Kim goes off on Chuck. And it's been a long time coming.
Chuck doesn't exactly come from money, Tiki.
Well, but you know what I mean. He raised himself up. That's what I'm saying. He has the attitude of like, oh, well, I raised myself up from money, and if you parents are just going to fold under this circumstance, then he's basically just being a douche.
Okay, so Kim goes off on a drunk Chuck.
Yes. Kim goes off on Chuck. And then the parents are kind of just, and it's like Kim hates to see the parents just kind of like humiliated like this at the Christmas party because she thought that the parents would have a lot of respect around there because Kim in her own way is all legendary employee of HHM. You know what I mean? Where when she was at HHM, she got a lot of shit done. Oh, So it's just kind of like, instead, they're being treated as second-class citizens because they're not fancy, smancy lawyers. And so that's kind of mostly where the Chuck Scrooge thing comes from. I'll admit it's a little forced. It's not the most well thought out. Anyways, so Jimmy, he's looking for the bear. He can't find the bear anywhere. He can't find the bear, Dragon. He just can't find the bear.
Okay, I instantly have a problem with this.
What?
You mean to tell me he gets a phone call and then he instantly goes instead of buying the bear that he's standing right in front of?
It's a plot convenience, all right?
No, that's a very bad plot convenience. Oh, it's like, okay, well, the bear was a muy importante item on the list. Right in front of him. There's a few
but he just figures that he could go back and get it later, all right?
I'll give you a holiday pass on that.
He figures he can come back and get it later. I'm
iffy on it, but I'll give you a pass.
All right. Go on. But so meanwhile in the background, as Jimmy's looking through the mall that we first saw him in at the beginning of the episode, he's looking through trying to find. We see in the background the mall Santa is just finished up with a few of his last kids for the day. And then Jimmy, he's sitting on a bench kind of across from the mall Santa. He's just really defeated. He's having a lousy Christmas. And then Jimmy looks up at the mall Santa and sees the mall Santa. And through the mall Santa's circular glasses, we kind of make out a familiar face. We make out a familiar, slightly wrinkled face. Maybe a ginger mustache. Maybe a ginger mustache underneath that beard.
Yeah, boy.
And that's the end of Act 2.
That's
the cliffhanger for Act 2. Is Saul and Santa Claus locking eyes with each other?
All right, that's kind of a weird end, like commercial break right there. But okay.
Saul and Santa, because I'm trying to be as not obvious about it as I can without actually giving it away. Saul and Santa.
Okay. So basically, if
it's a big deal, if in case you can't tell, it's a big deal who Santa Claus is going to be.
All right. So the idea is like people who know who I'm not going to say who people who know who it's going to be. Them knowing it's like the tension. That's where you end in Act 2.
Sure. Like them, like oh my god, like it's him.
Is that who I think it is?
Yeah. Right. Like oh, is that him? Is that
all right?
Him?
Okay. All right. So here's my Act 2. Okay. So I think you're gonna like the opening of Act 2. So we hear Frosty the Snowman play as Hector Salamanca drives his really cool classic car to prison. Nacho in the passenger seat. They drive to prison to visit Tuco.
Okay.
So again, importantly, as the Frosty Snowman song plays, the important last lines are said to, and as I waved goodbye, I said, "Don't you cry, I'll be back again someday." Because again, we're going to see Tuco back again someday. That's Tuco and Hector Salamanca. We're definitely going to see them again one day. That's the gag. That's why Frosty the Snowman. That's why Frosty the Snowman is picked, but also the snow theme, and importantly, the snowman thing. That's why. Again, that snowman's going to come back because someone's going to be doing something with that snowman. Anyway, so we're in prison. We're in prison, basically visiting Tuco for the holidays, and we see a lot of tension. I basically put as much holiday tension as I could in this special, Tiki. So Nacho is, again, I'm trying to build suspense for season 3. That's the idea. So Nacho waits very nervous, like kind of, it's like a little, the little glass screen where you meet people at.
Right.
So basically, Tuco's on one side, his prison regalia. You have Hector on the other side, and like right behind, like leaning against the wall, almost is Nacho, almost leaning against the wall. It's like standing right in front of the wall. So basically, it's Hector wishing Tuco we're out for the holidays. The promise is he's worked on some stuff that he'll be out soon. Again, basically the whole gun thing in season 2 is pretty. I'm working on it, Tuco. You will be out soon. Yeah, it's something like that. And again. The odd thing is, like, I wanted to play with the idea that Chuck and Jimmy have such a screwed up dynamic, and basically, kind of our little family, our kind of our big, the McGill family has been through so much, and they're such kind of a broken family that you have the Salamancas who are psychotic monsters, yet they're so loving and so connected to each other. Again, it's like I want basically kind of the abuelita sort of thing, Tuco and his grandma, Tuco and his uncle here. It's like Hector genuinely wishing him a Merry Christmas around the holidays, visiting him, saying, "Oh, you deserve, you need it. You made your mistakes and you're here, but you are my nephew. I love you." It's like really sweet stuff. And it's like just very loving Uncle Tio. "Oh, Uncle Tio, I love you.
What did you do to my Tio?"
It's basically the idea, that the idea that Tuca is also very loving towards you. "I love you too." Again, like I'm not trying to make a scene or anything. It's just, "Uncle Tio, I love you too." Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully Raymond Cruz is not listening to me butchering just kind of a pitch voice. Anyway, so basically
you're going to end up in Tuco's trunk next.
Oh, come on. Talking about Raymond Cruz. Raymond Cruz is a much nicer guy, despite the fact that he actually put that cigarette out on his tongue, which is freaking terrifying.
God.
Which is true, folks. Look it up. Anyway, so importantly, so he tells me that he promises to lay out soon, very loving towards his Uncle Tio. He warns... importantly, this is like a big tense thing right here for Nacho. And Nacho doesn't have a big role in this. Pretty much the only Nacho scene. Again, the idea kind of that Mike's been watching Nacho is that Hector gives his nephew some advice, especially in prison, but also in general when he gets out of prison. This is setting the stage for some stuff in season 3, perhaps, because we don't know when Tuco's getting out. Because it could be a year, it could be 5 years. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you it tells he warns Tuco to pick his battles, pick your battles and your targets, and basically pick your battles and target the right enemy. So whether Hector knows of Nacho's betrayal or of again Mike Ehrman is actually targeting towards Mike Ehrman's trail, we don't know. But again, the heat is on Nacho because either way, Nacho's dead. And Nacho walking into that prison, he's terrified that Tuco is going to put 2 and 2 together. That Nacho is the one that set him up.
Okay.
So. But again, the idea Hector might be on to him too, which is even worse. More on there's more on Nacho's shoulders there, and then as they're leaving, kind of like you can feel the cold sweat pour down Nacho's neck here as you hear Tuco say, "Hey Nacho, Ignacio, Merry Christmas." Just you can see like the terror on Nacho's face as he leaves us. Merry Christmas, singing like keeping it under the veneer. There's a hilarious cameo. As we walk past, we ended on a laugh after all that tension when we see the kettle cameo. The Kettlemans are celebrating Christmas too. Basically, God. Betsy Kettleman and the 2 kids are visiting Craig Kettleman, who's like right behind the glass too. Like they brought him.
I feel like this is an idea that's been brought up before.
Well, I mentioned like they're in season 3. I'm predicting them visiting him in prison. Or something. I basically did that as a holiday thing. Well, you do the same thing with what you're going to be doing later on. So. Okay. Point is, they have like a little Charlie Brown tree, and they have a little Charlie Brown tree, and they have cookies, and it's like it's really sweet, the fact that they're visiting Craig Kettleman. And I didn't say all the stuff because I kind of hope this would be like the gag in season 3, but. The point is, Betsy's like asking if he's okay, and the implication being, "Are you okay? Have any of the prisoners been friendly to you?" Implying as anything, has his tree been put up,
Mm-hmm.
Basically implying like and the gag is, I'm hoping for season 3 they had something that the idea Craig Kettleman actually does really good in prison.
Oh God!
Like I'm imagining that Craig Kettleman's the gag I love to imagine is that Craig Kettleman, he's still like the milquetoast kind of nice guy, but he's getting kind of a little more ballsy in prison. So he's like the J.K. Simmons of Oz in prison. He's kind of like you don't mess with this guy.
Oh no.
But the point is, that's not in this though. I'm just saying that's in general. It's like she asked, "Are you okay?" And Craig is putting on the scene. "Oh yes, honey, I'm fine." So again, it's like a real sweet little cameo. It's like a little cameo, huh?
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Let's see. So continuing forward. So again, they leave the prison. We see Mike is watching from a distance them leave the prison, still tailing him, but he still has other stuff to do. So we see him drive off. We see him visit the vet. The vet. Remember that guy?
Sure. Right.
So the vet gives him Mike a Christmas bonus around the holidays for them having a really good business transaction.
That kind of fits right in with the classic, the underworld having a really tight ethic code.
Yeah,
kind of in Jim Beaver style. I think Jim Beaver is kind of like the embodiment of that in the Breaking Bad universe.
Unfortunately, I couldn't squeeze him into this, but he's with us.
But you know what I'm saying, though. You know what I'm saying. Just kind of the whole idea of like the ethics surrounding the underworld. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and basically the idea of the vet here is like give him a little Christmas bonus, and Mike's going to use that Christmas bonus for the episode. It's like just because I like working with you, and you never give me any guff. Here you go, just an extra, a little something special for you. Thanks, Merry Christmas. And Mike then goes to the toy store. We see him pull in front of like a Toys R Us or Toys R Us-esque place, whatever. And then our next shot is the snowman from the commercial, but in full color. It's a big old inflatable snowman because we're at the car wash from Breaking Bad.
Oh boy. Okay.
Jimmy meets with Bogdan. Now let me explain this because there is the reason it's Bogdan. Let me explain. Because originally I was going to have in the commercial Jimmy was illegally shooting in a mall, which gave him like little mall setup of like Santa Claus sitting on the chair and everything, like Santa Claus fireplace, all that stuff. And that was the idea. But then I realized for what Bogdan's about to do here, it wouldn't work in a mall because no one can really manipulate Jimmy based on what would be captured here. So the idea is Jimmy trespassed on the car wash to shoot the giant inflatable snowman. It's a very trivial matter, and Bogdan doesn't have to make such a big deal out of it because it's free publicity, but it wasn't ostensibly obvious it was the car wash, but basically if you saw the giant inflatable snowman, you think, okay, it's going to give me a lot of business because people recognize that snowman. They don't know where.
That makes sense.
Bogdan does not that way, and Saul's interaction with Bogdan, he did not personally interact with Bogdan. He just formed a judgment on Bogdan that he assumed he was Arab when Mara's pointing. He said, "Oh, Bogdan, we can get him trumped up on terrorist charges, can't we?" He'd say he's Arab. It's just then Walter points at Saul. That's the only interaction they had. So I figured, okay, so this with that line, it'd be the only. I'd forgotten all those years Bogdan's name because it was just such a bizarre experience, and he never figured out he was Romanian or Arab. You know, he didn't never bother to learn the difference because he he only met with the guy years ago. Anyway, sorry, that was my main thing of thought on the whole Bogdan thing. This is the only story I can make work for Jimmy's story. So, me too, Bogdan. Jimmy's very nice, very pleasant, but Bogdan's not having any of it, saying, "Hello, sir, how are you?" Basically, Jimmy's just trying to test the waters. He's just trying to see, what is Bogdan trying to do here? Because he threateningly invited him down to the car wash to chat here. Not a good sign. He accuses, basically, Bogdan the way how anal retentive and how ridiculous and petty Bogdan can be from Breaking Bad. Remember the whole $20,000 for the car wash? I mean, $200,000 for the car wash. Right? You know, that. Actually, no, it was like $2 million for the car wash.
I honestly don't know right now, but
it was $20 million. I think it was $20 million. So we know that Bogdan. I figured Bogdan's blackmailing Saul here. That was my idea. That Bogdan's blackmailing Saul.
okay.
He accuses Jimmy of heinous crimes such as trespassing, vandalism, quote unquote, even though nothing was vandalized. The idea is Jimmy tipped a kid. He tipped a young guy working there to let him in the place and basically use the soap that they use in the cars, and also just kind of use the location on the outside, not tell anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot about the security cameras, and when Bogdan questioned, the kid folded like a lawn chair. That's the idea. So he accused him of heinous crimes, breaking and entering. Again, kid let him in. Bribery, which again is a serious charge for a lawyer. Point is, these charges are very trivial, but again, no one really was really damaged or anything. But point is, Saul just being accused of these things. It's important. And you used my snow soap.
Oh God! Oh God!
He basically makes. He doesn't like the yell. He goes, and you used my snow soap. He's always so like little.
No snow soap for you.
My snow soap. He's so angry about this, and basically Bogdan, again, like with buying the car wash, he trumps up the charge for this. Now, actually, I looked up the legalities of this, Tiki, and again, I did as much research as I could for this. Passing, that would be $500. That's the fine, and also the risk of going to prison. Points $500. Bogdan, for that and using the snow soap, and basically for reimbursement, he's trying to extort Jimmy for $15,000.
Oh God!
$15,000, and I will not call police. So Jimmy plays it smooth, saying, "Well, Bogdan, or whatever. I forget what Bogdan's last name is. I want to say it for you, Bogdan. Listen, I know it's a lack of evidence. He's playing it like a lawyer. He says, well, I'm noticing a lack of evidence here. I mean, if that's all you got, many inflatable snowmen around the place. I mean, come on. You'll hit one. Bogdan, basically, I homage the pilot of Better Call Saul, where Bogdan then puts in a VHS tape. It was in the very beginning of Better Call Saul, in the courtroom. He gave this awesome speech to the jury and everything, but then he just out them like not a word was said. Just someone put in a VHS tape of his client's committing the crime and he was doomed. So here's the same thing. So basically, he puts in a little TV on his desk, and Jimmy and the film crew ridiculously on that wagon. Filming the snowman and spraying the thing. It's ridiculous. And 48 hours to decide, then come back and tell me, and then come back and pay me. So Bogdan's being ridiculous. And again, the idea is the reason Bogdan is doing this, aside from being really petty, is he wants to extort what he thinks is the rich lawyer, the rich TV lawyer, quote unquote. Yeah, and he's thinking they're doing well, but not they're not HHM well. Right, I'm going to extort the rich TV lawyer because he has a lot of commercials. He must be rich. That's the idea. To help his fledgling car wash. You gotta remember the car wash before Walter White got his hands on it didn't do that well. Mm-hmm. People weren't coming in. It was a real kind of fledgling business. I mean, it was a big space but fledgling business. That was the idea. So the idea is he wants to improve the business, which except that has security cameras in surprising places. Like who has security cameras all over a car wash, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's see. So then we have all right. Sorry. So we have We had Chuck sewing space blankets into his clothing. Meanwhile, we kind of cut to that. We also see the getting us to there. I'm sorry. We see the shot of like the two of Chuck and Jimmy as kids, like a little frame photo we saw in previous seasons. We then transitioned to we panned the Chuck sewing. He's gotten so bad at this point. The idea is Chuck is still traumatized from his experience from the last 2 episodes.
Okay.
He's sewing extra space blankets, like all those extra space blankets he has that he used in the finale. He's sewing them into his clothing, so not just wearing it as a jacket. He's doing it himself inside every fabric of clothing, socks, shirts, everything. The point is, he's still doing pretty bad right now. Let's see. So Mike waits in a long checkout line. There's some get a little mundanity gag there. Just him with a big old shopping basket. Just super packed place around Christmas time. Meanwhile, Jimmy's thinking about stuff. He's thinking of what is he going to do about Bogdan. Kim leaves to deliver the invitations and also visit HHM to invite Ernie personally. Jimmy examines a laser pointer and then he gets an idea again. Laser, a little connection there. I'll give you.
Oh God.
He examines, which is a reference to the ending of Breaking Bad, hence the laser pointer. He examines a laser pointer, and Jimmy gets an idea. He grabs the phone, and we're on to the next scene. Mike drops by to watch Kaylee, the babysit Kaylee, who urges him to watch her favorite holiday commercial, which is Jimmy Claus.
Oh no.
This is the more colorful, silly commercials Jimmy was talking about. This is not the Citizen Kane classy ones. This is Jimmy in his Santa suit, which I mentioned before, at the old folks' home. Which, however the commercial goes, the ending of the commercial is Jimmy with Mrs. Strauss saying, basically he's playing Santa at the old folks' home. Basically, the last shot is Mrs. Strauss alone by the Christmas tree saying, at the old folks' home, gimme, and then Jimmy Claus pops out of a giant gift wrap box, lifting the top up, and he says, "Gimme!" Again, kind of strikes an Uncle Sam pose. And then he basically grabs a present from inside the bigger present, gives it to Miss Strauss, he gives like a loving look to camera, and then she hugs him. That's how the commercial ends. Mrs. Strauss hugging Jimmy in a box. Kaylee's loving it. She thinks it's funny, and Saul gives like Mike gives like an eye roll, like, "Oh God, I know that guy." They're like, "Oh, that." Basically, what he did in Breaking Bad, gives an eye roll. Yeah, Kaylee's like, "Oh, I think he's the funniest Santa ever." They get into transitions into the conversation between the two of them, getting into the holiday spirit. Basically real cutesy kind of grandpa stuff, telling her, "Well, I'm here and trying not getting into the holiday spirit." And she shares that it's not the same without Daddy. With Daddy gone, it's not the same. We used to do stuff like imagine a more cute filter delivering this information, by the way. But with Daddy gone, it's not the same, like, decorating the tree, baking cookies. We used to do all that stuff together, and Mike offers, "Well, I can do that with you, kid." And she appreciates it, but it's not the same. And kids get distracted with many times. She asks her Pop if, "Hey Pop, do you think it's going to snow?" And then he tells her, "Well, anything's possible, but it probably won't stay around like in Philly." For a moment, this is important. This is where we're getting the Lou Grant stuff here, folks. This is where Mike says he reflects momentarily on Maddie, his son. Says, "Oh yeah, and it used to snow big time. Me and your dad, me and your father." He's getting lost in the memory of like playing in the snow with Maddie. He then distracts him, saying, "You know what? Let's play with some Play-Doh. Get some Play-Doh." Yay! They're about to play with some Play-Doh. We focus on a sad Mike. Next, we got Jimmy and the Skater twins. Or to go over the plan. The plan is very they're very skeptical because last time they did a plan of Jimmy's, they ended up in a desert with broken kneecaps. So basically it's exposited by Jimmy that okay, well we've been given a well look, sorry. Jimmy exposits it. I've been giving you hoo-ha's work, haven't I? You've been given work in the commercials, which they've been getting paid for. And your legs are healed, right? You're alive. Did that for you? You're alive? And they say, yeah. It's a simple job. One pulls a slip in Jimmy, and they fall in front of the place like, "Oh, my wounded. Oh, I'm ow, it hurts." While the other one goes inside the Bogdan's office and grabs the tape. Simple as that. And he uses a laser pointer to find the camera while he goes in there. That's the plan. Very simple. They try to enact it. Does not go well. There's a lot more cameras. The drawer's locked. Pretty much it's a no-go. Gives them half. What are the results, guys? No results. Look, I'll give you half your pay and you're invited to the Christmas party. What do you say? Fine. Ho, ho, ho. So we see the Aztec in the parking lot by the car wash. By the way, that's important. Chuck attempts to leave the house with his protective clothing on. Now he opens the door. We have a POV shot from Chuck. And remember, it's like from the kind of these stressed out kind of electromagnetic POV. We hear some memory sounds of the hospital experience. All the machinery. Him in the CAT scan. Points Chuck is having kind of a panic attack in the doorway. CAT scan. We hear the shot of him hitting his head bam. He panics, and just Chuck is too terrified and weak. He cannot leave his house even if he wanted to, and he blames that on Jimmy. And he's frustrated. Hello.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's see. So. Okay, so after that, Kim visits Ernie. It's very nice little conversation. Mentions like you should come to work with us when we're an upstart enough. We have enough money. Mentions that she invites him to the Christmas party. Howard's acting a lot today. Why don't you visit him? She visits Howard, and basically just someone I've almost done the second. Here's the last thing. Congratulations on your success. Happy for you. Howard's saying to Kim. She asks how he's. Is when Howard says, Kim, tell me, how do you do it? We're both essentially in the same position here. We're both caught between the McGill brothers. You and I, we serve the same role. How do you do it? I'm second in command of my own law firm here. I mean, there are two Hamlins, not one. He's trapped by his partner here. Like he can't get it. He's always second. He can't escape. Basically, he's Skylar White, essentially. It's what he's saying. Kim gives him a simple piece of advice. A really nice little Kim Wexler moment here, where Kim says, Howard says, like, how do you deal with your partner? Says you confront them when they go too far. You confront them when they go too far. She invites Howard to the party. He says, oh, he'll consider it, he'll try, and he gives her like a genuine thanks. For a bit implies that he might know what's coming for Jimmy and Kim. He might know what's happening. Just give him like a longing look of like, oh boy, something bad might happen. Is a little sequence here, and the sequence is the end of Act 2. Just cut a big old snow shot here. It's mysterious. It's nostalgic. It's loving. We see some really nostalgic, loving camera work. And we see in the distance, we don't get a clear look at it. It's kind of like a memory of like if you were in the POV as a kid, you're going around, you're kind of bobbing up and down, you know where you are. It's like really loving, really nostalgic. We see an obscured Mike and Maddie, young Maddie, playing in the snow. They're building a snowman together, and they're throwing snowballs. But these snowballs, when they hit, you hear gunshots. The same gunshots that were in the 5-0 episode. It's Mike. They built the snowman. It's young Mike Ehrmantraut, covering like some stuff. So you could have Jonathan Banks in there if you wanted to. Mike Ehrmantraut and young Maddie. They're throwing snowballs, and like one hits Mike in the shoulder, which is when he got shot. We can quickly cut to that shot where Mike got shot in 5-0. They throw a snowball. Like one hits the snowman, the head comes off, and which is then you hear a few of the other gunshots and cut with the cops getting shot. And then when Mike throws a snowball at Maddie, of course you hear a gunshot in that one. As he goes over to him, is the kind of like help him up. He sees Kaylee Ehrmantraut. We then see the shot from season 2 where they're. And we then see Mike's POV, which we did not see, is Mike looking up, and we see the cousins kind of we don't see all of them, we see the finger gun. And we just see Mike's POV, we see the finger gun, there's a bit of like a hesitation on the fear on Mike's face, and then we hear a gunshot from cut from the finger gun, just a blackness, bam! Mike wakes up in a cold sweat, he grabs some milk from the fridge, he closes the fridge, and he sees Kaylee's drawings on the fridge. He sees Mike, Mom, Kaylee. It's like the whole family's there, and it's focuses on Kaylee's signature. Looks at the gun on the nightstand next to his bed, and he looks back at the fridge, determined, I'm going to focus on Christmas, not the cartel, not all this danger stuff. I need to be there for my family, and that's where Act 2 ends.
Okay. I've got to tell you though, you just kind of gave me a lot of plot and not a lot of time, and it just kind of overwhelmed me. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just kind of saying it was a little bit hard to follow just because there was so much going on.
Well, anything stand out to you liked?
Anything stand out? Yeah, there's a lot that stood out. Yeah, certainly I really like the dynamic that Howard and Kim and Chuck have with each other. That was nice. Just kind of in general, I don't know. I just, to be honest with you, I like the idea for what you have with the Mike stuff. I just think that in general, maybe you're relying a little bit too much on the flashbacks.
But Breaking Bad, they rare. Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was saying Breaking Bad. It was something you rarely did. I think we did this in our Breaking Bad Christmas thing too, where I just kind of, picture videos. I always kind of come up with like an awesome dream sequence. I think, and I figured
I just think
this one would go by a real.
I just think it throws off the tone of the show, though.
I mean, we've had like one dream sequence in all of Breaking Bad, or Walter White's hallucinating in the car. I figured, it's such a rare thing. And again, we don't really have like a big old montage, and this would be the closest thing to that. And again, I thought it was like kind of Mike feels a lot of guilt around the holidays for Maddie. And this is like a way of kind of visualizing Mike's guilt, again, mixing the snow metaphor, and just I don't know. I thought it was like an effective thing to kind of show you kind of what's in Mike's headspace right now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like,
look, I'm not saying yours was bad by any stretch. I'm just saying, like, okay, first of all, I've got to admit to you, like, I'm super stressed out for time, and I don't think we can get this done in 20 minutes. I really don't. And I need to get it done in 20 minutes. So I don't know what to do at this point. Because honestly, I was just kind of like a little bit pulling my hair out on the inside because we were kind of going a little over long on time. So you had some good stuff. I think kind of between the two of us, time's not on our side right now. So what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, like, I suppose you can't delay the thing that follows this, can you?
It has to be in 20 minutes. Like in 20 minutes, I have to be on it. Absolutely no question.
Great.
I told you.
Well, I mean, I did.
No, I told you I had to be done by 1:30. That I did.
I didn't know how urgent it was. It sounded like kind of a matter that could be